Alrighty, we're ready to show you how to fill out your overload for the first semester. So the first thing you're going to do, elementary, secondary, specialist, it doesn't matter. You're going to go to bit.ly/CEA overload, and you're going to hit enter. It's going to bring you probably to this page, and then you're going to continue to your destination. You're going to complete the first part. So it is asking for your email. You are going to use your work email. It's very important that you do it correctly because it's going to send you an email when this is done. This time. So I'm going to say I'm a 6th grade teacher. So I'm just going to say 6th. I'm going to go click on secondary. I'm going to click on next. It's going to take me to my building. So I'm going to say I'm at Sky Ridge because that's where I technically am. And my secretary is going to be Megan again, even though I know it's Bonnie Carter. And I am filling out for semester 1, October, November, December, and January. Then I'm going to click next. Here, number of students above baseline. So this is where I'm going to put in the number of students above my baseline. So remember, you have to go back and look at the contract to know what the number of students above baseline is. So I'm going to say that in October, just because I need numbers and I want to make it easy, October period 1, I had 0. So I can either choose 0 or I can leave it blank. But I'm going to say period 2 had 2, period 2 had 1, period 3 had 2, period 4 had 3, period 5 had 4, and period 6 had 5. Period, I'm going to leave that blank so you can see the difference. We're going to go 1, 2, because of course numbers didn't change. Next, leave it blank again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to say that this month my number did change. So I'm going to say it jumped up to 6 in 6th period. And then maybe in January I got 1 in 1st period and dropped to 0 in 2nd period. And then 2, 3, 4, and I drop back to 5. So then I'm going to submit my form. Once I submit my form, it is going to send me an email. This is my earlier email, so it's going to take a minute. The other ones came through much faster. There it is. So it's going to shoot you an email. It's going to shoot your administrator an email. So what's going to happen next is that you're going to get an email. On here, it also gives our base class sizes. So you would know that sixth grade, I have 29 as my base. Max is my 32. So in the month, if I come down here, in the month of October, I had 0 kids 1st period, 2nd period I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 5th and 6th period, do you see how it's a red yes there? I had 4 or more students, so I qualify for an overload exception. There's language, 4 or more requires rebalancing and or remedy. So if your administrator did not rebalance that class during the semester, then they need to come up with a remedy. One of the remedy options is A, you can take at the semester $500. If you're on a term, so if you're like Hayes, it would be $250 per term that you're in overload. And you can see that it is only once per semester, but it'd be 500 and 500. Now, if I went ahead and ran a different set of numbers. And then you can see this one had exceptions in October and November 3 and 2. What really happened is in October, first period and fifth period were over, as well as sixth. But in November, first period was not over by 5, and neither was fifth period. But second period hopped up to being over by 5, and fourth period or sixth period was still above by 4. So that qualifies for 4 overload exceptions because even though first wasn't any longer in overload, it still was in overload. So it does, and the same with fifth. So on the form, the only thing that an administrator can change on the form is this section. And in this section, the administrator should have met with you if they haven't already, and should have come up with a whatever that exception is going to be. If it's going to be the $500, or if it's going to be another remedy that you have mutually agreed upon. And that needs to be written in here. Can you take the $500 for period 1 and period 2 and then something else for period 5 and period 6? Yes, each period can be something different or they can be all the same. But it is something for each and every occurrence. The other thing to be understanding, if you have a class that's sitting at 4 or more above at semester, your administrator has to rebalance classes. They cannot stay at this 4 and 5 above at the semester. They have to rebalance the class. So you will probably see some shuffling at semester if you have overloads. You can look up here and see that semester 1, there were 22 days in October, and the number of sections with overload exceptions were 2. That's just so that administrators can see that there's exceptions that they've got to deal with. So per day in October, it was $52 a day. $52 a day times 22 is $1,144. $52 a day times 14 days in November, $728. So semester 1, this person would receive $3,536. When we come down here, your administrator, this is emailed to your secretary. Your secretary is going to verify that it's all good, sign off. Your administrator needs to meet with you and discuss what overload relief you're going to take. Are you going to take the $500 per class, or is there another relief option? Looking at the contract language, which is not listed here, so you'd have to go find it in the contract. And that needs to be written in here by your administrator. They will then sign off and pass it on to the district administrator for their sign off to then pass on. This is the only change that can be, this is the only thing that can be written on the form. Everything else must be computer generated. If there is an error, you will have to go back and recomplete the form out for the whole form. Any questions? All right, have a great day. Thanks. Bye.